For decades or years, she's been covering events and interviews that span around celebrities, red carpets, films, television, arts, fashion, music, cuisine, and so much more. I have a long list to share with you all here, but even as a talented vegan actress and host, there's all that here basically. But there's a reason why we mentioned the word vegan here, because she is the host of Eminence Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle, and I'll let her correct me if she's wrong, but what a better way to say, please welcome the fabulous and talented vegan Lucia Grillo! Oh my!
Thank you so much.
Oh my! I'm sorry. I got so excited.
Break your nose.
I think you broke my nose. I got so excited. I'm like.
I was excited too.
And you messed up my glasses.
I'm so
what
sorry.
did you do to me?
I'm so sorry.
I'm coming out on set and you're like this. Give me makeup and wardrobe here.
Lucia the disaster.
Now that's a good show
Hurricane-
title right there.
Hurricane Lucia.
Like, oh, just a minute here. Yeah, I gotta get myself straightened up and fixed here. No wonder I have to go through this on set. I'm like, listen, I'm good to go. Okay, now. This is going to take a while for me to get it, but listen, just you starting out as a vegan and doing your own show, it's like there's just so much that you've done. Like, tell us how the starting of the vegan lifestyle came about and what got you into it here.
Okay, my actual lifestyle or the
Yes,
show?
both.
Okay, so I went vegetarian when I was 12 because I grew up, my parents were Italian immigrants, so they would buy me pets and then the pets would end up on the dinner table.
Oh my goodness.
So to me that was very weird.
What pets are we talking about here?
Goats, bunnies, not dogs. We had dogs too, but they didn't tend to eat those.
Oh my
for
goodness.
some weird reason. So yeah, so those kind of animals that people consider edible. And I'm a child of nature. I love nature. I love from a kid. I could watch ants doing their thing for hours. Love nature.
Wow.
So when I realized, that these animals, like the chicken, right? The chicken on my plate was the same living chicken that walks around and breathes just like humans do. I just thought it was weird. So finally, when I was 12,
yes,
reading, because I'm a total nerd, reading something, and I saw this word vegetarian.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, I need to look that up, right? So I look up this word and I was like, no. There are people who don't eat animals. And that's where it started.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to eat like those, because they feel like it's some sort of animal abuse in that way. But it's like, I mean, just going through that obstacle, like, what were the challenges that you faced doing the as a vegan?
So when I first started, my poor parents, they panicked that I would die because they didn't know how I was going to get blood. So they would either sneak meat in my food, or they would make something with food and be like, well, you can just take the meat out. And I was like, no, I don't want any animal cells except my own in my body. So they finally caught on, and they were my entire family, from my parents to my cousins to my sisters, and then my nieces, when they were little and starting to bake and stuff like. They would make me vegan cakes.
Ooh.
My grandmother in Italy in her 80s would make me vegan dishes. So the biggest challenge, two, when I was that young, and then, in the years to come before I went fully vegan, the main challenges were, when I would go to an event or a restaurant, I would be served like an enormous pile of steamed one vegetable. No salt, no seasoning, no olive oil. And I was like, really? Like, I have to be punished because I want to be kind? That was a challenge. Now I'm like, oh, give me steamed veggies. Like, I love it.
Now you're making me hungry over here.
Me too. The other challenge, the reason I didn't go fully vegan was shoes. And I'm not saying this in a fashion sense. I'm saying this in a sense that I'm from New York. I grew up in New York. And at that time, the only thing available was Keds, Tevas or Birkenstocks, or Payless shoes. So that's why I didn't go fully vegan until a little bit later.
Yes, you know, you mentioned about the vegan shoes. You know, when I look at your Instagram, I see a lot of your vegan shoes posted on there, and I'm like, this woman's got good style and taste, and like pretty feet. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
Thank you, David. Ooh.
Wait a minute. And like, I'm like, holy crap. Let me just take this back a bit here, okay? All right. But that's all part of the vegan lifestyle, basically, right? Yes. So like, with all this that you do with everything with the vegan lifestyle, like, what would you say? Well, let's talk about the dishes, because I know you dealt with a lot of favorite of vegan dishes. Like, what would you say is like your most favorite and your least favorite here?
Oh God, I'm so boring. So this is my day. My normal day is smoothie in the morning, salad in the afternoon, popcorn as a snack.
Popcorn?
I love popcorn.
Oh yeah, you are like my mom here. She goes over popcorn all the time.
I have formed this addiction in the past year. I bought a little air popper. It was like really inexpensive. And oh my God, David, I'm admitting on camera I have an addiction to air popped popcorn.
Oh,
it's so yummy. So that's my snack. Or like I do, you know, I'll have a fruit or some nuts, and then in dinner I love soup. Because soup, like salad, you can put, people think salad and smoothies are boring, but you can always change it up. I always change. So maybe like if I want something light, it'll be like a veggie broth with miso and some fresh ginger, collard greens, tofu, and maybe some noodles if I'm gluten-free noodles, if I'm in the mood for some carbs. But you can always switch it up. You can put beans, you can put mushrooms, you can put any kinds of greens. There's so much we can do.
It's the carbs that's the challenging part, because you know, we can only consume a certain amount of carbs per day, because you know, because otherwise it could affect our health here. Because even my doctor had told me about this here, because otherwise. Yeah.
The main concern usually for vegans, what not for us because we're okay, but non-vegans are always like, where do you get your protein? And we're like, at this point, I'm like, nobody even asks me anymore, because they're like, I have what I call resting vegan face.
Well, listen, we both got our proteins from this show right here, Spotlight here, and from your show as well. Let's put it that way. And from Instagram.
We're so well nourished.
Both of our Instagrams here. But listen, aside from all that, moving forward, because you do a lot of like TV stuff, from like television interviews, red carpet events, and so much more. Because you've done, from what I noticed here, because you have been doing like what? I'm sorry. This is so much information I have here. I can't. They told me to read it backstage, and I'm like just sitting here. They go like, David, come here, do that. You know, it's like it's crazy here. Can only do so much at once here. You know. But you know, but you're notable in credits. You work with Spike Lee, if that's true. With The Summer of Sam here, and you've also worked with other films. I think you were on Ghost here with Whoopi Goldberg?
No, I wasn't in Ghost. Vincent Schiavelli, who was the ghost on the train, he was a dear friend of mine. And he was in my first film as a filmmaker. So I'm an actress and also a filmmaker. I make my films in Italy mainly, or like with Italian subject matter. So Vincent was in my first ever film as a writer, producer, director.
And what was the relationship like when you worked with Spike Lee?
Oh, it was amazing. It was such a great experience. Really, he's just, you know, he was like I kind of was spoiled to have that experience on set with him and the crew and my fellow castmates. Everybody was incredible. It was such a great experience. He was absolutely lovely. And then he became kind of a mentor in a way when I became a director.
Yes.
He watched first cuts of my first film and put me in a commercial after that, a Finlandia vodka commercial. So I really, it was really a lovely, lovely experience.
Yes.
And I had lasting friendships that came from that.
There you go.
People that are personal friends and with whom I've worked on other projects throughout the years since then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we have more to talk with you about that, so we'll have more with Lucia.
Lucia. If you do this, it works. Lucia.
Thank you. All right, we'll have more with Lucia Grillo right after the break. We'll be right back.